Hey everybody, what's up? I hope your weekend's going well. Just wanted to make another video here. So what I want to do is just play a clip of RFK Jr. talking with Theo Vaughn on Theo Vaughn's podcast. And this is basically RFK Jr. kind of explaining exactly how the Democrats are kind of trying to screw him out of running as a Democrat. So because a lot of people are maybe a little bit confused about, well, why is he a Democrat now, but maybe he's going to be running as an independent or a libertarian. Here's why he may leave the Democratic Party.
It's wonderful. Do you think that he will get the? Yeah, so I guess I have two questions because
I think I can beat him if they give me a fair fight.
Right. Okay. But before that, do you think that he'll get the nomination?
Well, I think I could get the nomination.
Okay.
If they give me a fair fight.
I see. Do you think that you're currently getting a fair fight?
No.
Why?
Well, because they're doing. The Democratic Party is supposed to be neutral. They're not supposed to choose favorites, but they actually endorsed him a week after he declared. And his campaign is being run out of the Democratic Party office.
Which seems like convoluted, huh?
Yeah, it's not. It's a conflict.
Because the party should be separate from the president, even if they're of the same.
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Even if they're both Democratic.
Yeah, the party should be neutral and say, look, we're going to be the referees in this fight. It's like if you went to a football game and the referee in the game was wearing the same uniform as the guys you were playing against.
Right, you say, hey.
Yeah. So.
Right. So you see how he's just kind of explaining how it's not really fair, and the DNC is being very biased against RFK Jr. in favor of someone like Joe Biden. Even if Biden steps down, they will push either Kamala Harris or, in my opinion, Gavin Newsom, and they're still going to find a way to screw this guy.
That's what they're doing. And what they've done is they've taken the states that voted most strongly against Biden last time around, and they've said, if anybody visits those, if I visit those states, then no vote in that state will count in the election. So if I go to New Hampshire, which I did, any vote that I get in New Hampshire will not count.
And if I go to what?
For me. So if I...
And not only will they not count for him, they will automatically go to Joe Biden. And they're even trying to do this in Georgia too now, which is just... It's wild how they're blatantly trying to screw one of their own members out of running for president. It's just really exposing how corrupt the DNC really is.
I beat Biden in New Hampshire, and I win all the delegates. Those delegates will not be allowed into the convention.
But how can they just say that? Isn't there like a democratic process that overrides that?
You would think. But actually, the party makes its own rules, and there was Bernie Sanders. They did the same thing to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, they cooked him.
And he sued them and said, you guys rigged the game against me. You fixed it. And the court said, yes, they did fix it, but actually, it's a private club, and they're allowed to fix it. They can make up any rules they want. They can do it.
And see, that's the problem. They can literally override the vote or make it so that some votes don't count for some people that they don't like. That's how Hillary Clinton beat Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie Sanders is a clown anyway. I am not a fan of his, especially considering, once he found out that what was happening to him, he then supported Hillary Clinton. I mean, he is not what people really think that he was, or he's not what people thought he was back in 2015 and 16 when he seemed like a good candidate. He's a clown. But they still shouldn't be rigging the game, even though it's legal. They can make up their own rules. But I mean, I didn't even know this until a few months after I started this channel when a couple people in the comment section notified me of this and sent me an article. And I was in shock. I was like, wow, they're just blatantly admitting that they're changing the rules to get what they want. Meaning the primary vote is essentially just a fundraising event for them. And that's why people don't think their vote matters. That's why people think the game is rigged. That's why most Americans do not vote. And I really think that RFK Jr. can change that. I think a lot of people will get off their butts, go down to the polls and vote for him if he's a candidate, especially if he's a libertarian candidate. Because the libertarians already have ballot access in 40 out of the 50 states. I made a video earlier where I was saying that it was 50 out of 50, but that's not true. They still have some work to do. But if he ran as an independent, he would have to gain ballot access in all 50 states individually, And that would be so much more work, and a lot of states are probably going to block him. So whether he goes independent or libertarian, either one is good, but I think the libertarian option is better for him.
Anything they want. So
See, this just leans so much more into like this stuff that like people feel like their vote
yeah,
doesn't
there
even
you go.
matter. Court concedes DNC had the right to rig primaries against Sanders.
And that's Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who, you know,
DNC chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz for violating the DNC charter about rigging the Democratic presidential primaries friendly coming against Bernie Sanders.
and she's the one who tried to silence me when I testified before Congress a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And so anyway,
It just feels like it feels so dirty at every turn.
yeah, I mean, it's bad. To me, it's bad for the country right now because so many people think the whole system is rigged.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, man.
And
If my vote doesn't matter.
and I think both parties should be conducting elections that are incredibly fair.
Mhm.
And everybody looks at them and it says, okay, this is a model that America's the exemplary democracy for the world.
Should be.
And
Right.
one thing you can say about America is it has fair elections and every vote gets counted. And, you know,
Yeah, it's starting to remind me of the articles I would read in the papers of like Venezuela, a lot of the Central American countries where they would be there would be coups and stuff, and they would be overriding the process because they thought the elections weren't fair. You know.
or, you know, in the Soviet Union, the Communist Party, they said, oh, we're a democracy.
Mhm.
But the party would pick the candidate, and that'd be the only guy you could vote for. And that is exactly what they're doing here. They're saying, they're saying, the good news, the bad news, we have a democracy, but there's only one guy, and everybody's got to vote for him.
Which is not a democracy, right? That's what people like Jimmy Dore and Tim Pool and others are explaining to people. Hey, listen, we don't have a democracy because we don't actually have a real choice. And this is why a lot of people, like Theo said, are not even comfortable voting because they don't think it matters. And if they're going to play games like that, then it doesn't matter. We need to burn both of these parties to the ground. I don't mean that literally. Don't start burning buildings down. I just mean we need to get rid of this two-party duopoly because it's just they have a death grip on the system and on the voters, and it needs to change. And RFK Jr. is the only guy who can do that. Cornel West, okay, not nearly popular enough, and he's not really gaining any steam. Who wants Trump versus Biden again? Nobody. But if you have Trump versus Biden or Trump versus Gavin Newsom versus RFK Jr., RFK Jr. is going to take a lot of votes away from both of them. And like I said before, he's going to wake people up. People who don't vote or normally vote are more likely to vote for him. Not to mention the centrists, the libertarians, the populists, the people who are slightly left, slightly right, people who want real change, don't like Biden or Trump. He's going to get all of their votes. I don't know how many votes he'll get, but I would bet he could do 50, 60, 70 million votes. If that's the case, he's got a pretty decent chance at winning. So, hopefully, we'll see on October 9th. That's when he's making his big announcement. So hopefully then we start to see, or more, we get more clarity on what's exactly going on with him. Hopefully it isn't the announcement we're all waiting for. Hopefully he can really change, because this election coming up next year is going to be the most important election probably of my lifetime, and a lot of yours too. So yeah, again, let me know what you think in the comments. I do get a lot of messages when I make RFK Jr. videos about supporting him. Some people don't, that's okay, but a lot of people do. A lot of people seem to really like him, and he continues to gain steam, and it's awesome to see him get 100,000 followers gained every week. That's millions by the time next October comes around. So it's very good news. They're going to continue to attack him through the mainstream media, and the Democrats and the Republicans will work together when RFK Jr. does run as an independent or libertarian, because they will both try to block him because they know he's a threat to both parties. They're going to try to do something, and it's probably not going to be a clean, nice rule that makes sense. It's going to be some dirty trick to get people to either not trust him, or they're going to mess around with the polling numbers so that he gets under 15%, so he's not allowed to debate. They're going to do something. And we need to be aware of this, and we need to speak out about it, and we need to stop this, that this man can be the president that we all need. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be posting another video on Monday as well. So I hope that you guys enjoy that. I hope you enjoy this video. And again, thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.